Okay, so we're coming up to the end of the topic on statistics. We're just going to cover one more thing, but just so you know what we're going to be looking at in terms of what you can do, there's a list of all the things that you need to be able to do. Mean, median, mode and range from a small group of numbers. You need to be able to complete frequency tables and find the mean, etc. You need to be able to draw the histograms and the polygons for the frequency histogram and the cumulative frequency histogram. Don't forget that the polygon, the cumulative frequency polygon, is also called the ogive, just to make it harder. And we need to be able to use the ogive to estimate the median, where you just sort of come across halfway and then come across to the polygon and read down. You need to be able to draw stem and leaf plots and answer questions. You need to be able to find the quartiles, Q1, Q2, Q3, and draw box and whiskers and answer questions. You need to be able to talk about skewness of data, whether the data is symmetrical, positive or negative skewed. And the one we haven't done, which we'll do today, is group data and finding the mean and the modal group. Okay, and then on the next page, there's the chapter review. So that'll be what we'll be looking at over the next day or two. But you're not going to do any questions to do your standard deviation. Okay, so that's what we're doing over the next few lessons. Okay, so let's look at group data. When there are too many different numbers that are in the data set, we need to group them to make the frequency table, the frequency table smaller. Okay, so normally the groups are in 5s or 10s, but you can have any size groups. And what we try to find is what can we do to find the group size. So a rough estimate is get the largest score minus the smallest score, and that's called the range. So get the range, and then just divide by 10 if you want 10 groups. If you want 8 groups, divide by 8. But just remember that every time, the smaller the number of groups, the less accurate is the analysis. Okay, so more groups means more accuracy. Less groups, less accuracy. Okay, when you're ready, come across. So here we have an example where the data is already in a table, and we just have to, the only things we can find are the mean and the mode, and we call that the modal group because we can't actually find the mode because we don't know what the scores are. The scores have been grouped, so we don't know what the mode is, but we can tell what the modal group is. So straight away, the modal group is is the group that has the highest score. So the modal group, straight away we can say the answer is 21 to 30. So the group that occurs the most is called the modal group, and then we're still going to find the mean. Okay, so what we do is we have our table set up already, and what we do is we need to find an estimate for the middle of that set of numbers. So the middle will be add the two numbers and divide by 2, and that gives you that number. And then if you do the next, 11 plus 20 divided by 2, that's 31. So that's 15.5. So you can see that the groups are going to go up in tens, so you don't have to keep going with the calculations, you can just see the pattern. So what these numbers mean here is that even though we don't know what the scores are in the group 1 to 10, we're going to say that all 3 scores are a score of 5.5, even though the numbers could be 1, 1, 1, or they could be 10, 10, 10. We don't know, but we're going to average them out to be all the numbers will be 5.5, which I know doesn't make a lot of sense when you can't have decimals when you're counting numbers, but that's okay. So that is going to be basically what we're going to say, that the scores are all 5.5. So then the next column is the frequency times class center. Like when we had previously, we had the FX column, now we have the FCC column. So when you do your calculations, you just get your calculator out, and that is 16.5, and then I have to use my calculator. 7 times 15.5 is 108.5. So again, this 15.5, we don't know what the scores are, but we're going to say that all 7 scores are 15.5. 8 times 25.5 for the next one is 204 exactly. 2 times 35.5 is 71. 5 times 45.5 is 227.5. So just like we did before the FX column, we have to add up all the numbers. We have to add up this number here, so 3, 10, 18, 20, so we've got 25 numbers. And now we just add up the numbers in the last column, 108.5 plus 204 plus 71 plus 227.5. And according to my calculator, that gives a score of 627.5. And so the mean is 627.5 divided by 25. And so the mean, even though we don't know what the numbers, we say that the mean is 25.1. Okay, to one decimal place. So that's how you, so we don't know what the numbers are, but we're going to say the average is 25.1. So copy that in, and there'll be some examples. The chapter that you're going to be looking at is exercise 3B on page number 105. Okay, so that's the first one where the table's given to you. In the next one, the data is not in groups, so we don't know what the data is. So we don't know what the groups are, but what we're going to do is, I've got some pretend data. So 30 people gave their date of the month they were born, and I've made it easy because I've just arranged them in order from the 1st of the month to the 31st of the month. And if we had to do a frequency table, it'd be way too big. So they're saying, in this question here, I'm saying group them in groups of 5 and then draw a group frequency table and then find the mean and the modal group. So I've started the table for you. So it says group into 5s. So 1 to 5 is 5 numbers, and the next number will be 6 to 10, and then you can see the pattern. It goes 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Now even though it's not a 35th of the month, we have to have a pattern. So we go to the 35, and it goes 1 plus 5 is 6, plus 5 is 11, plus, all the way to the end. So just remember that 1 to 5 is 5 numbers. Okay. So again, I've made it a bit easier because I've already done it in order. So in groups, in the 1 to 5s, I've got 3 numbers. 6 to 10 is that one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 makes it easier. 11 to 15 goes up to there, so that's 4 numbers. 16 to 20 is that set of numbers, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 21 to 25 is up to there, so that's only 3 numbers. 26 to 30, ooh, that's a big size, that's all of those numbers. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And the last group is that size there, and they add up to 30. So the group centre, the first one, I'll just over here, 1 plus 5 over 2 equals 6 over 2 equals 3. And the groups are going up in 5s, so it's going to be 8, 13, 18, 23, 28, 33. So even though that last number is sort of ridiculous because you can't have the 33rd of the month, we've got to have the pattern. And then we just multiply it. So 3 times 3 is 9, 6 8s are 48, 4 13s are 52, use your calculator, 5 18s are 90, 3 times 23 is 69, or 7 times 28, I can't do that in my head, that equals 196, and 2 times 33 is 66, and then we add the numbers up. 52, 90, 69, 196, and 66. So when you add those numbers up, you get 530. And so the modal group, it's bad writing. The modal group is the easy question. Look down the numbers here, and the biggest number is a 7. So the modal group is 26 to 30, and then the mean is just 530, and you have 30 kids in the data, so 530 divided by 30. So the average day is 17.6, so the average is the 18th, so to one decimal place. Okay, so That's it. So if you do exercise 3B, plus we've got the chapter review, and that'll be the next couple lessons. Okay, thanks for that. Bye.